So welcome, I'm Holly and this is Abigail, and
Hi.
We're the cooking family, and today we're going to be making a delicious soup that we like to call Tuscan sunset soup. And also, we sometimes also call it Italian sausage, white bean, kale, and sun-dried tomato soup. So it's
That's
one of
a
our
long title, though. So
long,
Tuscan sunset is a lot
Tuscan
shorter to
sunset's
say.
way shorter. And so that is one of our family's favorite soups. We have a lot of favorites, don't we?
Oh yes, definitely.
We really enjoy eating.
This is my favorite soup, all-time favorite. Love it. Warm days, hot days, cold days. Any day, I will eat it.
She's a soup girl. So we wanted to give you a little farm update of what's been going on around here. It's kind of a little bit of a summer lull, I would say. The girls have been doing a lot of, I think maybe the boys have been helping too, but a lot of chicken vetting.
Oh.
A lot of chicken veterinarian work.
Let me think. So last night we thought we had an impacted crop, which is when your chicken eats too much food and they can't digest it all fast enough. So we thought we had that, so we just did some stuff that we watched, some videos we watched told us some stuff to do. And we did that. Thankfully, she's back to normal now. She does not have impacted crop anymore, even if she did. So that's, we did not want to do surgery.
Who knows if she really had it or not, but we now know she's healthy and we're not worried about her.
Nope.
And they've been working on, did we say about the chicken lice? We're still working on the chicken lice. It's one of those, you have to really maintain it.
We didn't tell them last time.
Okay, because I thought it was kind of gross. And it is. But it's all part of having chickens and taking care of them, and we are hoping that as soon as the weather cools off a little bit here in Texas, that we'll get some of our chickens to start laying eggs.
Yes. My chicken keeps on telling me that she's going to lay an egg, and then she never does.
And how does she tell you?
She tells me by singing the egg song.
Yes.
Every day for like...
Bok, 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 bok. That thing. They really do that. Also, our cow Cookie is doing great. She's a Guernsey cow, and she had a calf about 9 or 10 weeks ago on Father's Day, and her calf Ginger is doing awesome. She's growing. She's getting really tall, and she really loves to chase Elijah, and they like to frolic around the pasture. It's super fun to watch, and she sort of chases chickens. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and she chases Biscuit, our dog, and she also chases Cookie. So she's a chaser.
She's a chaser. She's a frolicking calf, so she's really cute. So that's our little farm update, and we're going to get started showing you how to make Tuscan sunset soup. And then in the middle, we're going to show you how to proof bread in the Instant Pot. And we're going to make some garlic rosemary focaccia bread to go along with our soup.
Sounds amazing.
Shall we get started?
Yes, we should.
Okay, so here is our Instant Pot, and this is an Ultra. And we're going to press start, and we're going to put it on saute to get started. Actually, here we are. And you can go down until it hits saute, and then you press select. And I actually want it to be on high temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and put it over on high and then press start, and that'll start heating up, and we'll get started sauteing and browning our Italian sausage.
Do we need oil at all?
This Italian sausage is not very lean, so we're not going to put oil in it. We're just going to start it out in our Instant Pot, basically cold Instant Pot. It hasn't been preheated. And we're just going to put that in here. We have been able to find Italian sausage really readily at Aldi. They have great Italian sausage. It's bulk. They also have the links, and so if you can only find Italian sausage links, we'll either cook the links in the Instant Pot and cut them up, or you can squeeze the sausage right out of those links, and it tastes great.
I don't like the skin. It's...
Yeah,
like you can cook it in the skin, but it's tough,
So if you can use breakfast sausage or plain pork sausage and just mix fennel, oregano, basil, and garlic in with it, and it makes a great substitute for Italian sausage, because there have been times when I have not been able to find Italian sausage at the store. So we're just going to let this Instant Pot heat up and start browning our meat while we chop up our onion. You want to show them how to French an onion?
Do we have my
Okay,
knife?
I have your knife over here.
We have a cut glove.
So everyone needs a really good sharp knife in your kitchen arsenal of tools. It's a really great, crucial, essential. And this one is a Victorinox. And it's a really great budget knife. Found it on Amazon. And it works really well.
Yeah. Okay, so today we are going to be Frenching our onion.
That's
remember
right.
this time. And we have a trash bowl.
We'll grab one.
Okay.
We've got our tub down here too.
Okay. So I'm just going to, you can cut these hairs off, but they're actually root. But I like to just take it off because I don't like to risk cutting
just a
myself.
little messy. And then I also like to kind of keep that off the cutting board.
Because you do not want those in your food. Okay, so there's two ends to an onion. There's a stem end and a root end. And so the root end you leave on your onion to hold your onion together when you're cutting it. There's a few more hairs. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off this, we'll cut off this stem end.
Yep, you got to hold on tight to that onion or it'll roll around on you.
Pick up all our papers, and now you have a flat surface to put your onion down and it won't roll around. So then we are going to cut our onion in half and take off the papery skin.
When you're Frenching, you can cut the root end off.
Right,
because you don't need it to hold together. But when you dice it, we keep the root on there as something to hold on to. It's not a problem.
So actually, we're going to go ahead and cut off the root end after I get the skin off. Chewing helps.
Oh, is it making you, Abigail's getting a little teary cutting this onion. So usually the kids like to chew some gum while they're chopping up an onion because the chewing motion of your mouth helps release something that keeps the gas from burning your eyes quite as much.
So
also contact lenses help because it doesn't bother me at all while I'm wearing my contacts, but when I cut up an onion in my glasses, I cry.
And it still makes you cry a little bit.
That's right. And the reason we cut our onions, French the onions in this dish is just a little variety. I like the nice pieces, and we'll go ahead and let those caramelize in here with the Italian sausage, and that's going to add a ton of flavor to our delicious soup. So the ingredients in this dish are Italian sausage, and we've got that here sauteing. We're using our wonderful wooden flat edge spatula or spurtle, and you'll see how this bottom of this Instant Pot is getting nice and brown. That's going to give us tons and tons of flavor, and then in a moment we'll show you how to deglaze that before we pressure cook. So the other ingredients in this soup are garlic, sun-dried tomatoes add a huge pop of flavor. They're so fantastic. Balsamic vinegar, and we love to use kale. So we're going to chop up this kale and show you exactly how we do it. And we're going to use white beans. These are northern beans. You can also, if you can find cannellini beans, those are actually the Italian ones, and I think they're pretty much the same as your great northern beans. And then homemade chicken broth that we made in the Instant Pot, and we made these beans in our Instant Pot too. Beans are a great thing to cook in the Instant Pot. And I think that's everything. It's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to keep on stirring this as it's browning. And Abigail, do you want to show them how to do the garlic?
Sure.
Okay, so this is a bulb of garlic, and then these are the cloves. We're going to use about 6 cloves of garlic.
Do we have our masher, meat mallet?
And so this is a chopper that we love to use to chop up onions, garlic. And it's
you can
great.
chop up onions with it.
You could chop up onions,
especially
if you want them really fine. But a knife works really well for dicing onions. But this is great for garlic, and also little children can really help chop up garlic with the assistance of an adult and using one of these choppers. This one is an OXO. We also love the Pampered Chef one.
Yes. So we have our meat mallet just to break open these cloves of garlic because they're so hard to just peel. Like, they just take a while. So we're going to use the flat side, and we're just going to, that was a little too hard, but we're just going to smack it until the peel breaks. And then once we get all of them done, we will peel them, and we'll just take off the peel and then cut off any bad spots that we might have. Mommy, do you want to cut that off?
I sure will.
Do we have a knife for that, or?
I have a big knife that I can do it.
Where did I put my clove of garlic? Oh, you have it.
You want it? Okay.
No, you have it. I was just like, did I put it in the trash bowl, or where did I put it?
Where did that thing go?
Because sometimes I do put my food in the trash bowl.
Right.
And
sometimes it flies off the cutting board and you never know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Till you sweep the floor later.
And find a clove of garlic and you're like, where did that come from?
Oh, that's where that went.
Oh, yeah, that's where that went.
Yes. So it is super easy to put on a pot of beans in the Instant Pot. Like I was saying, we use these dried northern beans to cook them, and we cook them in the Instant Pot. They're super easy, and they're a great budget-friendly way of saving money and using your Instant Pot. And you also save yourself from having all kinds of preservatives and crazy ingredients in your beans if you make them yourself from dried beans. And if you own an Instant Pot, you have an excellent bean cooker.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to just chop up this garlic in our chopper. Is that good?
Oh, that looks so perfect.
Awesome.
Yum. So be careful. She's sort of cleaning out the inside of this, but you want to be really careful not to touch that blade because it's very sharp. We only want the garlic to saute for about 1 minute before. Do you mind if I just rave it up here? We'll get it over into the Instant Pot. So we're gonna just saute it for about 1 minute before we add just a little bit of broth to start deglazing the pan. You can see this yummy brown bits on the bottom of the Instant Pot, and you want that for flavor, but what you don't want is for that brown cooked stuff to stay on the bottom of your pan because it will not, on the bottom of the pot, because it will not come up to pressure properly. Because your Instant Pot is going to give you the burn notice, the dreaded burn notice. If you have an older model of Instant Pot, what it will do is just start counting down. Instead, it'll start counting down when it's not under pressure, and you'll be like, what's going on? That's probably that you have a spot on the bottom of your Instant Pot insert that is too hot, and it's preventing it from going ahead and coming up to pressure. It's actually a safety feature, so it's easy to get really frustrated, but it's a safety feature that's helping make sure that everything's going to be great as you're cooking in your Instant Pot. So what I do then when I get the burn notice, or when my older model goes ahead and starts counting down, is I'll open it up, try to scrape off the bottom as much as I can, and a lot of times you'll feel the thing that's stuck on. And I'm actually going to just cancel this and shut it off. It's a little hot. I'm just going to let it kind of stop cooking for a second. You want to realize that when you're cooking on saute in the Instant Pot, it's like having your burner, especially when you have it on more or high. It's like cooking in a pot on the stove with it all the way on, with your burner all the way on high. So just have to kind of think of it that way, and it helps me to realize why it's getting too brown on the bottom, or why it is getting brown. Maybe not too brown. Okay, so the next ingredient, so we're gonna set this chicken broth aside. Oh, I wanted to tell you, we have a Fearless Newbie Instant Pot course, and on that course we show how to make chicken broth and how to make beans from scratch. And if you want to try that course, a little sample, we have the Fearless Newbie Instant Pot mini course, and that's available for free on our website at thecookingfamily.com, and you can go on there and sign up for the Fearless Newbie mini course and take that, and you'll learn a lot about getting started cooking in your Instant Pot. And then we have a full course that's available for sale on there as well. So you'll find out how to make chicken broth and beans right on that course. Okay, so the next ingredient is our kale. Actually, maybe our sun-dried. No, those go later.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is kale. We have been so blessed to have kale growing in our garden this summer. Cookie ate 4 of our 6 plants, but our remaining 2 have produced just a good little amount of kale.
And in our winter garden, we're going to put some and make sure this time to not let the cow in.
That's right. Don't let the cow in. So what we do is cut these stems off, because those stems are pretty tough. And we're going to probably put those in the chicken. We have a chicken snack bowl. It's kind of crazy how we end up using all these things, but we'll just send this out and the chickens will enjoy eating that. Or if somebody wants to take them over to Cookie and Ginger, I'm sure that they would love to eat those kale stems. So we cut the kale stems off, kind of out of the middle, and then set those aside. And then we'll begin to cut the actual leaves of kale. And I like to chop up the kale pretty reasonably small because I don't like a huge piece of kale. So I like to kind of cut it up fine. And the way that I do that is just with a good sharp knife, just make small chops. And then kale is a pretty sturdy veggie, so it's not going to overcook in your Instant Pot unless you cook it. Well, for this recipe, we just cook it for about 5 minutes under pressure, and it's going to be great in there at that level. If you're going to cook anything any much longer than 5 minutes, you might want to wait to put your kale in. You can also, if you don't want to mess with fresh kale, you can buy the frozen kale. It's already chopped up. It is an ingredient we have right in our freezer. You want to show them a bag?
It's actually in the scorpion.
I went and got it.
You did?
Right
Okay,
awesome. Sometimes you don't have time to mess with frozen, and to mess with fresh, and you just want to use the frozen kind. So I always like to have a little bag of this in the freezer for when we just need
Chopped
something
kale.
quick. A little chopped kale. It's a great ingredient. We use chopped kale in our, what is it called?
Kale salad?
It's a keto soup. It's like Soup Toscana.
Oh.
It's keto
Yes.
Soup Toscana, and it is so yummy.
Yes.
But it has cauliflower and Italian sausage and kale, and that is actually available on our Instant Pot Keto course, Fearless Newbie Keto Edition. So I'm going to put in a little bit of balsamic vinegar. That's 1 tablespoon, and that's going to go right in. We're going to put in the rest of our broth. Broth is so easy in the Instant Pot. I always like to have some just on hand in the fridge. We go through it in about a week's time, and it keeps really well. And it's great for making soups. That's 4 cups of broth. And here goes the kale. It's so pretty and green. Looks so wonderful. And then we're going to put our beans on. And these are cooked
So is
already.
this kind of a layered?
So I like to layer it in the Instant Pot. You could stir it together, but I like the broth to be on the bottom. Thank you.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
I'm sure there is.
I think so, because the beans are kind of thick. I don't want that to be sitting on the bottom of the Instant Pot getting brown. So the kale kind of holds the beans up. So just to help prevent it from getting scorched on the bottom. So we're using 6 cups of cooked northern beans or cannellini beans. And when we cook these, we put in a little bit of olive oil or some kind of oil. In this case, it was olive oil. And a little bit of seasoning. We love bay leaves and magic flavor dust. We have the recipe for magic flavor dust also on our website at thecookingfamily.com. It's a sort of a house seasoning that we use to season a lot of things. And it has onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper, and it's fantastic.
Can I put in the sun-dried tomatoes?
Yes, you can. So these sun-dried tomatoes are already,
let's see,
they're julienned, which means they're sliced, but we like to go ahead and dice them up.
Okay.
And you can use any kind of sun-dried tomatoes that you can find. You can use dried ones. Actually, those look like pretty small pieces.
Are we, how many are we doing?
4 tablespoons.
That's probably this whole can.
Close.
Jar.
Diced tomatoes just add a huge amount of flavor. That looks fantastic. Awesome. And then you just take your knife and give those a little quick chop. I'm on the lookout. I don't remember, was it last year or the year before at Costco? They had a big bag of sun-dried tomatoes that were not marinated in oil. I love them marinated in oil, but they're just, it was a huge bag. And we used those and used those and used those. But I haven't seen them at Costco, so I'm hoping it's a fall seasonal thing and that those will show up again because they were so good.
Okay, how's that?
That looks great. And then you can just put them right in there, sprinkle them on top. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of salt here. Oh, that looks so good, so colorful. And I can already smell those sun-dried tomatoes. They smell delicious. So that was just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I just added that because our broth is unsalted that we make at home. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you my checklist that I always use anytime I'm starting up the Instant Pot. I go through a checklist in my head because when I first started using it, I would always get mixed up, forget where I was, and then I would end up forgetting to do something, and it just helped me to come up with a little checklist so I could go through it in my brain, and also the kids can use it as they're starting up the Instant Pot. That way, if you go away or go take your kids for a walk in the park, or if you're busy doing laundry in the other room, you haven't forgotten something and your Instant Pot's sitting there steaming and not coming to pressure while you're doing that. So I came up with this checklist, and we call it our pre-flight checklist. And I say liquid lid valve, program, pressure, time, pause, or start, because some machines have an actual start button. So I'm going to go through, and we've added our liquid. Then I'm going to check the lid, make sure that my rim is in correctly and sealing or ready to seal. So now we've closed the lid. Liquid lid valve, check the valve. This one is an ultra, so it automatically resets. But on the Duo machine, you have to make sure that your valve is set to sealing and not to venting. And this is the step that I always would forget. And then I would come in, my Instant Pot's all steaming, and I'm like, what's going on? So make sure your valve is set to sealing. And then liquid lid valve program. Check the program. And we're going to, you can use pressure cook program. And I'm going, but you can also use soup or broth. So I kind of choose whichever button seems obvious. And I'm going to choose soup, and I'm going to select that. And I'm going to adjust the pressure if needed. My pressure, I want it on high because I'm cooking a soup, then I want it to cook fast. And then I'm going to go and change my time program pressure time, and then I'm going to adjust the time to just 5 minutes, going a little fast on that dial there. And I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go ahead and press start. So if you have an Ultra machine or a Lux, you're going to use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the time to increase or decrease that. And there's an adjust button or a pressure level button to change the pressure in your Instant Pot. And you just want to make sure that it's on high pressure for a soup like this. I use low pressure for eggs, chicken breasts, things like that. Okay, so we're going to clean this little cutting board off.
My knife
and have a little tiny moment of cleaning up here.
Clean as you go.
Clean as you go. Man, that is a habit that is, I would say as a mom, challenging to teach kids. Kind of feel like nag when I'm constantly saying, clean that up, don't just stand there while you're waiting. But I'm trying to instill in them to, while they're waiting on anything in the kitchen, to clean up, put things away, because then at the end you're kind of more free if things have already gotten done. So,
and that's a big,
yes, that's a huge,
that's
great
a good
thing. So we're going to show you how to make focaccia bread. I'm going to need that cookie sheet over there, and our dough
right here.
I don't want that dough. I want the cold dough. So we had to make a couple of different batches of dough so we could show you whichever one was ready to be punched down. There you go. Okay, so this is a really simple focaccia bread to make. It's a yeast bread. I'll take it. So this one has been rising, and it's actually really warm in our kitchen. So,
but actually that's been in the fridge.
It's been in the fridge, but it kind of already rose. So we were going to show you how to proof your bread dough in the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot is a great tool if you have a model that has the yogurt setting. That is what you need. Okay. So when you have your dough, after you've mixed it together, this will work for any kind of bread dough. So you're just going to take your unrisen bread dough, and you're going to put it right in your Instant Pot insert, but don't forget to oil it. So you're going to use the best environment for rising dough. I don't know which that should be. But the best environment for that is warm and moist without any draft. And your Instant Pot will do this super quick because it's a nice contained environment. So you're going to just take your bread dough. After you mix it up, add all your flour, get it kneaded, and you're ready for your first rise.
Then wait.
What?
You have to smooth it down and tuck the corners in.
I just smooth it down, tuck the corners in. Abigail's
there you go.
All professional.
I just
awesome,
like to
girl.
do it because then you get a nice.
It does look really nice.
Smooth top.
So what I'm going to do is on the bottom where it's ugly, I'm going to put it down in there, get it all covered in oil so it doesn't get dried out as it's rising. And so then we're just going to leave this little wonderful ball of dough, right? And we're going to put it over in our Instant Pot. And the setting that we want is the yogurt setting. And we want the normal option. So if you cycle through on your yogurt, it's got less, normal, and more. The more setting, if you were to proof bread on that, it would brown the bottom of it. You don't want that. And then the less is going to be just a little bit lower temperature, and it's going to be on for 24 hours. We don't want that. Well, of course, we're not doing it for that long at all. We're just using the nice environment that the Instant Pot provides. So we're just going to put it on normal, and then we're going to put a lid on it to keep our bread dough from drying out, and also to keep it nice and warm and moist in there. So just going to put a lid. This is a lid off of a soup pot. Any lid that you have that will fit will work. You can also use your regular Instant Pot lid, but I like to look down and see it rising. Or Instant Pot has a lid available that will work on here. Of course, we're not pressure cooking at all, so we're just gonna let it rise.
The yogurt setting does not come up to pressure.
Yeah, I am gonna check something. I'm just curious. I think you can adjust the time. I'm gonna cancel. So, because I was thinking about setting a timer. Okay, so we're just gonna proof this for 30 minutes and check on it and see how it looks at that time. So it's gonna start on this machine. This is where I had to add pause to my checklist and make myself not press start.
She would always just go, okay, I'm ready to go. Press cancel.
Right.
And then, I gotta do it all again.
Set it all again. Because my slow cooker had the start button in that position, and if I didn't press start on my slow cooker, it wouldn't cook at all.
Right.
So that was a major bummer. Okay, so we just put our bread dough in, and like I said, any bread dough, your dinner rolls, focaccia, just regular bread, any kind of yeast dough that you want to rise, pizza dough, all will rise really well in your Instant Pot. So now I'm going to take, I have a half sheet pan here and a piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to take some dough that we have already been proofing over here. Uh-oh. And it has already risen. You can see how nicely it rose. And we're just going to take it, plop it out on our sheet, on our little parchment paper. And we're going to give that a little quick roll up and kind of knead it a little bit. And while we, what is it called?
Knead.
Punch it down.
Spread it out.
Punch it down. So I can actually feel, and I know you know this, you can feel the little bubbles popping in here.
It feels so nice.
We're punching down the dough as we spread it onto our cookie sheet. So this is to make it into focaccia. You could also turn this into breadsticks if you wanted, or if you're really fancy, try cutting it into breadsticks and then tying it in those little garlic knots that you get at a restaurant. Yum, yum.
And then what are we gonna do?
Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, you can tell them.
Okay, we're going to take this, it's kind of sauteed, but this oil and rosemary and pepper and garlic and thyme, and it's just with olive oil, and we're just
So tell what you did with this.
Oh yeah, so I just put my oil in the cold pan, and all my my thyme, my garlic, rosemary, and pepper, and I put it all in the pan, stirred it up, and put it on low heat over the stove, and let it sit there until it started smelling up the room. It smelled amazing. And then I just waited, I just let it sit until it cooled down, and then you brush it on your bread like this.
So you can see that there are already herbs in this dough, and so the oil that she used in the dough was the same oil. So
yes.
Half of it goes in for the actual dough making, for the oil in the dough, and then the other half goes on top.
Yes.
And with focaccia, you use the little holes that you punch down, and that kind of allows the olive oil and herbs to pool down in there, and it's just so delicious. It's like fried bread almost.
It is fried bread.
It is fried bread.
It's not almost fried bread. It is fried bread.
It is fried bread. It's so yummy, and it smells really, really amazing. So yeah, she's gonna just go ahead and pour here. Let me take this, because you don't want to use all of it in there. We've got a couple different loaves for this.
Well, actually, we only have one more.
One more?
But, yeah.
Awesome. So we're just going to sort of spread this out. And then this will be ready to go in the oven. Actually, it needs to rise for a little bit in order to be a little bit airy. And it's going to rise in the oven for just, it's going to rise on the counter, and then we'll bake it for about, 20 minutes?
An hour. Yeah, no. I don't remember. Rachel said it earlier, so.
20. Okay. And then it comes out looking like this, and this is going to be just fantastic to go with our Italian Tuscan sunset soup here in a minute. And we're going to show you that.
Here's a pizza cutter.
Oh, pizza cutter. That's a great little tool to cut this up. So we're just going to take, I'm actually going to maybe take it out.
It looks amazing.
I love parchment paper because it just makes everything so easy. And now it's just on my flat cutting board. I don't have those edges to mess with. So we're just going to cut this into some square and rectangle pieces.
Square and rectangle?
Square, rectangle, whatever size you want.
Yes.
And we're going to have one of these little middle. Here, that's a nice little rectangle. Here you go.
Awesome. Yummy.
So we're going to taste this. So good.
A little salt.
That's what I was thinking. Needs just a touch of salt, but it's super yummy.
It is amazing.
So maybe on that one we'll just sprinkle some salt over the top. Super yummy. And then here's our little taste testing bowl. I'll give this to the assistant. Share it back there. Okay, we'll set this aside on yours.
It's all mine.
Cutting board. Okay.
I get to eat it.
So this one has not come up to pressure yet, but we have a pot already made back here. This just been on keep warm. And here it is. Okay, I'll bring it forward.
What can I do?
Here we go. We're good. There we go.
Awesome.
Very good. And here is the ladle.
I'm gonna go ahead and
So
sprinkle
you can
salt
see
on
those wonderful little sun-dried tomatoes in there, the delicious kale, and those white beans are going to add a lot of good protein. The chicken broth has all kinds of collagen and gelatin because we made it with real bones in our real house. So it's going to be fantastic. And then just going to sprinkle a little rosemary on here. Rosemary grows super easy in our yard, so it's one of those you can hardly kill it. It handles drought really well. It's a great herb to have around especially if you've never delved into growing herbs. It's a good one to start with, and it adds so much fragrance. Okay, are we ready for our little taste test?
I'm ready for our little taste.
Abigail's ready.
I'm ready to eat.
It's her
Lunch.
favorite little soup. So here you go.
It's hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Be
it is
careful,
a little bit
it's
hot.
Contents are hot.
So the first time I made this was actually a couple of years ago before we moved out to the country. And so I put everything in the Instant Pot, and then we were able to leave. The kids and I walked over to the park. We had a chance to go play outside, and it was just and when we came home, we had a fantastic, yummy soup waiting for us. And so that is one of the things I love about using the Instant Pot. It just helps be able to have some freedom while you're cooking. It allows the meal to get done quick, and yet you don't have to necessarily be there babysitting it, stirring it on the stove. It's just such a game changer for a mom and for me as a mom.
It looks like the sunset. That's why it's called Tuscan sunset. And if you come out here every night, you can see beautiful sunset. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we hope
so
that
good.
you'll try this recipe. It's at our website, thecookingfamily.com, and just find the Tuscan sunset soup. It is delicious. And remember that your family can cook and enjoy great meals together. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.